I've been here for almost 6 years now, and there's been talk the entire time I've been here due to the aging of the jail and the crowded condition we've been facing. So we have been talking about expansion and renovation. The Hays County Jail is not abused, it's used every day. If you take a door to your house and you open and close it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, the locking device isn't going to work good and the hinges are going to be worn out. That's just the way it is. And while I'm talking right now, we're opening and closing doors back there, and that goes on constantly. Our booking area is very small. There's one area where we put when they first come in, it's our one area we can only allow to put 7 prisoners in there by jail standards. We've outgrown that area. We converted about 2 years ago to a stadium seating or open seating we have there. In this open seating, we can put prisoners there in the booking area. So all that area is small. And you know, understand, when we moved into this jail in 1989, about 27 years ago, it wasn't designed, it was the county at that time probably was about 60,000, and we're pushing 200,000 today. It was designed to handle it back in those days, but not today. This morning we had over 100 prisoners out of county. I have them as far away as Fredericksburg, Texas, which is Gillespie County, Johnson City, which is Blanco County, Bastrop, Texas, which is Bastrop County, Guadalupe County, which is Seguin, and all the way to Walker County, which is Huntsville. Well, the problem with transporting inmates out of county is, first of all, officer safety, inmate safety, some wreck happened or something like that. You've got overtime issues because of the hours you're traveling. You've got vehicle and maintenance issues because of the wear and tear on your fleet. A couple of things you have to look at. Let's use this example. Say you got a 80-year-old grandmother who would like to visit her son. When she lives here in San Marcos, he's in Gillespie County. That's 70, 80, 90 miles one way. And so that's the issue. Attorneys need to visit their clients. Really important, our investigators need to get to these people. I mean, when they're that distance away, that's a big issue. Well, what we also, it's our communication center where our dispatchers work out of. It's in the old jail that we moved over here in '89, so it's in a building that was built about 40 years ago. It was not designed for a communication center when it was built. It was a jail. It was not designed to be a communication center. So they're over there. And in 1991 or 92, we had about 9 dispatchers covering 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're up to 27 today. It's a 300% increase. So we're running out of space, plus the technology. We stay constant to update our technology, but you always got to deal with technology. And so it's extremely small and outdated for a building that was not designed to be communications. What we faced during the Memorial Day flood last year was a tremendous volume of 911 calls coming in, obviously because of flooding conditions and the property damage and loss of lives. And our system here went down, right here at Uline Road address went down due to the lines. Something happened to the lines off-site from here. We had to, right in the middle of the flood, move to San Marcos and over to dispatch out of, which we did because of ours went down during the flood. What we're talking about doing is like a co-locate communication center where we'll have, at this time it's still not for sure who all is going to be there. We feel like the Buda Police Department, which we do dispatch for them right now, the Kyle Police Department, they have their own communication center, and then Texas State University, we're all working to be under one roof, and that's something, one of the things we're working out right now. The Law Enforcement Center is the same building where the communication is. It's over 40 years old. It's cinder walls, and it was built as a jail. So we have officers almost working out of closets, and nowadays the way we investigate is changing so much because of technology, and we have to stay up to date on this. It's changing every day, just like your cell phone. You buy a cell phone today, you buy one a year from now, it's different. It does a lot more features. Well, that's the way we have to investigate nowadays, to stay up to date on criminal investigations. Also, you got our evidence, how we collect and process evidence is so important today with new laws out there. We're running out of space for how we collect and process and store evidence, and that's very important to a case. And so all that's in this building next door, which said was an old jail. I have a lieutenant that works here. We celebrated her 25th year here a few weeks ago. She worked in the Hays County Jail for all 25 years. And when she started back in around 91 or 92, there were 2 women housed in the Hays County Jail, 2 women. Today we got over 60 something. The jail was not designed for that. Another thing while we're talking about the jail, there's a new federal law that came out a while back called PREA, P-R-E-A. That stands for Prison Rape Elimination Act. Came out of the federal deal. What it basically means is they don't want 17-year-olds housed with 18-year-olds and above. In some states, not all states, you're an adult at 17. Texas is one of those states. So this jail was not designed to house 17-year-olds, so we have to make adjustments for that so we can house 17-year-olds. You can have a 17-year-old and 18-year-old commit the same crime. We can't house them together because of the PREA Act. And so we have to deal with that. We have to deal with that. We have an infirmary, or a clinic we call, has 4 beds in it. 4 beds might have been great in 1989, but with over 300 inmates here, and over 400 in our system, you need more than 4 beds, so that's outdated. So all that's what we've been faced with, and we continue to work and make adjustments. We have a kitchen there that got renovated several years ago, but it's doing preparing 3 meals a day, 365 days a year, so roughly 1,000 meals a day is coming out of that kitchen. That's hard on your equipment, and that wears it out. Right after I took office, and not too long after I took office, we made a lot of adjustments here. And a couple of those adjustments we did was, first of all, we did, for example, I call it site and release or field release. There's 7 offenses out there that an officer in the field, a patrol officer, can write a ticket for, and they report at a later date to answer to the crime. It's called cite and release. We started that program where they're not booked in right then, but they still answer to their charges right then. We started got with the Austin Police Department. Okay, we now worked agreement with the Austin Police Department to use their lab to analyze evidence. DPS has to answer for a lot of the state of Texas, so they're backlogged. So we use the Austin Police Department. We can get results back quicker and get it to our courts in the hands of prosecutors and defense attorneys so we can move them further. I put in manual labor credits. That's on the book in the Code of Criminal Procedure, where I can give them 3 days for one on certain offenses. Not on offense, all offenses, but on certain offenses. So a person could sentence to X number of months. If he wants to volunteer to work, we don't make him work here, then he can get additional time off, time served. So we put all this into place to move the inmates through. Right now, as of last week, we had about 3% of inmates in here just on misdemeanor offenses. 3%. And I think it came out to about 13. And I know the 2 of the 13 have mental issues. So that's very low considering in our system we got over 400 inmates. And another thing I want to mention about outsourcing. We have a contract, interlocal agreement, whatever you want to call it, with these other sheriffs all around us here. However, when we outsource, we can only take them certain inmates. They're not going to take an inmate that's got medical issues. They're not going to take an inmate that has troubles, cause problems while he's locked up here. So we have to take them choice inmates, if there's such thing. And so just about 2 weeks ago, we had 31 inmates at Caldwell County Jail. They had us combined with the Texas Commission on Jail Standards, and they called us and said, "Can you come get your inmates?" So we had 2 days to get 31 inmates out of Caldwell County Jail and move them to another facility. That's the agreement we have with these sheriffs. You know, a lot of them will not take female inmates. They don't want female inmates. And so they're not going to want capital murderers and child predators. They're going to want the pick of certain inmates, and we don't send them with those type of inmates.